This is a HeadGum podcast.
I love this cup, by the way.
It's a good cup. Mm-hmm. I like a cup that keeps the cold. What is that old saying? A cup that keeps the cold.
Well, always.
A good body hold.
A body hold.
A good boy, a good day will hold.
Dude, I've been here for like 20 minutes so far, and because we haven't looked at each other yet, I feel like I just got here. Is that
well,
weird?
it's because we like our relationship is very much based on like just the podcast, sadly, right now.
Yeah,
because we're
at the
busy
moment.
boys. Yeah. And it's hard for us to like find time to like spend like just personal time together, which bums me out. But
That's
I
kind of how
understand
it was when we started this. I was thinking about that the other day, that this was like our chance to fool around from work because we didn't really get to do much stuff in work.
Yeah, at SourceFed, we didn't get to really play.
So I think it's important that we keep a healthy distance from each other.
Yeah,
in
we
our
just
personal
it's just a
lives.
business relationship, and that's it. Keep it business, zero pleasure, and we're gonna go on forever. We're gonna live forever. Think of the great duos, Anthony and Ian from Smosh.
Pee-wee and the Playhouse.
Pee-wee and his good friend Playhouse. His close friend Playhouse. Mike, welcome back.
those famous duos, Raphael, Leonardo.
Playhouse. Remember what Playhouse was in the Ninja Turtles?
What color was his bandana?
You know what? I couldn't see it. I had a
aquamarine.
black and white TV back then. Mike, you've been gone for a couple eps.
I'm sorry.
You've been gone for a couple Omar eps.
I have, man. I went home.
It's all right, dude. You're busy, man. You fly around a lot. You're hustling.
But I think I'm staying put for a little while. I got a lot of stuff to do here.
Yeah.
Very heavy elsewhere.
Yeah.
It's always very heavy elsewhere.
I know.
I
I've seen it, man.
I had a heavy trip home.
Well, and nobody is disputing it because they've seen your...
They've seen how heavy my snaps
They've
have
seen
gotten.
how heavy your snaps have gotten. And I'm sure you made a lot of people happy traveling to the East Coast. I know that you briefly saw our very good friend and friend of the podcast, Chelsea Dunaway.
Too briefly. But she came to a show that I did, and I was very
and
thankful
apparently
for
you
that.
guys have a mutual friend?
Yeah, which blows my
Wow,
mind.
that's so crazy. What a small... Dude, do you know how crazy that is?
You know, they say it's a small place,
They say the planet's this big.
and they always hold up the same amount.
The same amount, yeah. If you go any bigger, someone's like, that guy was lying.
Hey, you don't know the old adage.
You must not have heard that saying before. Yeah, because like I met Chelsea working at Sony like years and years and years ago.
Uh-huh.
It was happenstance.
Where was that?
Culver City?
Okay.
Yeah, Culver City, and at the Sony Studios. Mm-hmm. In beautiful Culver City, California.
You could so easily remember a couple of years ago they came out with that like Cleveland tourism video.
Yeah, that's just like a fun joke.
You could so easily do that about like specific places where you grew up. I would watch them having no idea about the places.
I want to do. There's too many like ideas in my head, and I don't know what to do.
You got to kill a few off.
It's hard to hear.
Here, let's go over your ideas, and I'll tell you the ones that are bad. And my opinion is that'll be a deciding factor.
Is this the place to do that?
I honestly don't know anymore.
Okay, so I thought it would be fun to do the cottage cheese challenge video. And it's a whole new YouTube challenge video series where you fill your entire apartment with cottage cheese. Let me finish. You literally fill every nook and cranny with cottage cheese.
Okay.
It could take months.
And this is the whole challenge?
And then you just see how high up you can get it before the time runs out. What do you think, man? This is one of my top tier ideas.
Okay, well,
It's actually a B idea. I don't want to give all my A ideas away right now.
this can go two ways.
Okay.
One, I immediately have so many more questions.
Okay.
Or two, just get that one out of there.
Okay. Well, why don't you ask me one question?
How long's the timer? Left the horn at home.
It's so interesting. I know you did. I knew it before you even said it. It's so interesting to me how the circle of friends work. I'm a little ill right now. I got a cold. And it was such a bummer because we had VidCon.
Yeah.
And
notorious for giving people colds.
God, everybody. A lot of people got colds. A lot of touching going on at VidCon. A lot of hands. A lot of hands at VidCon.
Most of the hands are there.
Most hands.
Most Hands was my favorite Genesis album.
That's the one where Phil Collins drummed on every track, right? He played the drums on every track.
Yeah, only the drums. He played guitar with the drums.
I don't want to even know how that's possible. The VidCon was very fun, and I had a great time, and then I started to get a tickle in my throat.
Right.
Like on the second day, I think. I was there from Wednesday to Friday.
Mm-hmm.
And I think like Thursday evening, I started to feel a little tickle. You know, the last episode of Dynamic Banter featured William Haynes.
Yeah, I listened to it.
We were like out the door. Like his buddy was here, and he was going to drive us to VidCon, and they had all their luggage here and shit. And we were 1 foot out the door. Like we were standing basically for the whole podcast. Like we wanted to get through it quick.
I imagine you just holding the equipment and the mics inside the door, but your body is outside and you're just trying to finish up real quick. Then you drop it and you go.
Yeah. It was a little harrowing.
Yeah. Well, you guys did a great job.
We did a great job, thank you. And then around Thursday I started to feel a little not great. Thursday evening, and then Friday I did Phil's panel in the morning and felt okay. And then I got to the airport and I was like, nose.
Yeah.
No nose. Because you don't sleep when you're sick. I know. Because it's like, we've talked about it before. It's a germ pincushion.
Yeah.
It's a sponge of germs.
Yeah. It's where they keep germs.
Yeah. That's where germs are from.
When you cough into your arm, it goes into a plane.
Yeah, it goes. Everyone's arm is a portal into a plane.
Connected to a terminal in LAX, and that's where your coughs go.
That's why I only cough into my hand, not into my arm.
It goes to Des Moines when you cough in your hand.
No, it goes into the water. What place is the water real bad in
where
Detroit?
The Great Barrier Reef is.
So I was at the airport and I wasn't feeling very good, and I did feel. Oh, I wasn't sleeping. The thing about VidCon is like, man, you good luck sleeping, because absolutely, because it's one of those things where it's like, your friends will be so sad if you're not in someone's hotel room and they don't see you for a moment.
Yeah. You're 100% right.
And there's too many friends that get mad about that.
It's FOMO central.
Yeah, it's weird, man. I'm starting to get like a weird feeling about pushy friends.
Yeah.
You know, like, I'm not going to name names, but there are pushy friends.
You say some names.
Okay.
No,
Elliot Morning. Elliot's Morning. No, I mean, there are some people who are just like insistent to a point of like ridiculousness. Yeah. And then they make you feel really bad.
Yeah.
And I'm not even specifically talking about anyone like specifically. I'm just saying like there's this whole thing about like some people are just very insistent about your presence at certain things. And it's like, I mean, you know, be a little, you know, and someone's like, I don't feel good, or I'm tired, or I have an early panel or something, like, you know, usually people are pretty good about it.
I like the people who are unapologetic about like, I'm not going to go to that.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And like,
well, that's the thing. There's a fine line between both of those, right?
Yeah. Yeah. You could very easily accidentally offend a lot of people being the I'm not going to this guy. I've been the I'm not going to this guy for a while.
Yeah, but that's like you. That's your thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like it, and I think you earned it.
Well, I appreciate
you
that.
definitely earned it.
I don't know what I did to earn it, but I would do it again tomorrow.
Well, I think it's just it's I think it's one of those things where it's like, again, like if you're too nice to the point where you're like a bit of a pushover, then it's harder to get away with like,
because everyone's expecting you to say yes all the time.
Yeah, because all you do is say yes all the time. And
You got to get people a little mad at you every now and again. So if you're not there, it's all right.
Yeah. I just don't. I mean, for a while I was known as the flaky friend and the friend that bails.
Christian Bales.
The friend that Christian bails. But, you know, a lot of it is attributed to intense anxiety and agoraphobia and depression. Transformers The Last Night apparently cost $217 million.
What is that? Does that money go to actually building the robots? Or is it still just a computer game?
You know, a lot of it's cocaine that goes straight to Michael Bay. This is the 5th film in the Transformers franchise, and it cost $217 million just to produce.
I gotta ask you something.
Okay.
Are you planning on playing something?
No.
A clip?
No.
Okay, I need to ask you one question about you playing clips.
Okay.
And this comes from me listening intently to the 2 past podcasts.
Hold on a second. I think I know where you're going with this.
Okay.
And
Maybe
I
we
just
can meet in the middle.
I want you to know that I've prepared. I want you to know that I've done a check. I did a sound check.
Okay. Shoot. I really want to ask my question because I like how it's worded.
Go ahead and ask your question.
Why is the default...
Wait, hold on. Hold on. Before you ask
small sip of water here.
Okay. Okay, go ahead. Go ahead. What are you going to ask me?
There was a part at the end. It seemed like it went up a little bit.
It was a little too loud, you think?
Why is the default volume on all the sound
loud.
effects? All of it.
You know what? It's a bit of a trial and error. I think it's one of those things where like here's the thing. There's 2 answers to this question. Do you want a funny answer or do you want like a legit like
I know the legit answer. I don't think there's like a mystery that needs to be.
I think that some podcasts have the luxury ... ellipses of having a sound boy or girl who are constantly monitoring levels at a degree in which they can put all of their attention onto it. And for me, it's not easy. And because everything on the internet, it turns out volumes are different.
Yeah.
You know, and
put it on a t-shirt.
Volumes are different, I'll say. And the thing is like, I think it's funny sometimes when it gets too loud. But in I know for sure in the last episode there were some real bad ones, and I meant to like fix them in post, but we were, like I said, we were out the door, and I was like, "Oops."
You know what I think is really interesting?
Go ahead.
Aside from what's ever happening in the apartment,
don't worry about it.
Directly above us,
don't worry about it.
Is that I really think that this is the only podcast that can get away with that because of how likable you are, specifically.
Well, because I'm not trying to be a jerk or anything.
I would challenge anyone listening. If you've listened to an episode after your eardrums have bled. Is it not because Steve is easily forgivable for stuff?
I'm not trying to be mean. I was trying to have a little fun. It's just
trying to hurt your head from the inside.
Harmless fun. You know who's really mean is any rock bands that are live. That'll ruin your ears forever.
I've said that about any rock band.
Any rock band. I actually had to wear head plugs for the event I was at that I'll talk about in just a minute. But
okay,
But before we get on to that, I got to get through this bit of information that the Transformers, The Last Night, the 5th film in this Michael Bay's Transformers franchise, based on the popular 80s toys, is the most expensive Transformers movie ever made. Cost $217 million to produce, including untold amounts more to advertise.
Why is that budget untold?
Well,
It's like
a lot of times
Natalie Portman song.
a lot of times the advertising money is not disclosed. They don't really talk about it because it's a lot, and they don't really want other studios to know how much they're spending on advertising their movie. But here's another piece of information for you, Mike. This film also, Transformers: The Last Night, experienced, and by the way, The Last Night is KNIGHT.
Thank you.
In case you were wondering, it was a night.
I have no question now.
The film experienced the lowest opening day of any movie in the franchise's 10-year history.
Not the most expensive one.
And even more... Oh, it was the most expensive.
Oh, no.
Most expensive and lowest opening. And even more embarrassing is that apparently Box Office Mojo pointed out that the only other Transformers movie to open on a Wednesday, 2011's Dark of the Moon, pulled in...
There's no way it's called Dark of the Moon.
It's called Dark of the Moon. Transformers Dark of the Moon.
That was a real... That was not a mistake?
No, sir.
Okay, go ahead.
That movie pulled in $162.6 million on its first 5 days in theaters. That's not bad.
Compared to what?
Compared to, and here's the first reveal of this, The Last Night earned, since its release, last Wednesday, $69.1 million.
Damn.
So, $69.1 million plus... Okay, in comparison to the $217 million it cost to make the movie, and then the amount of money it cost to advertise the movie,
Why? Who's begging for that many Transformer movies?
I don't know, man. Because
so who is like, we have to have 74? Who says that?
I'll tell you who. It's people who have a Transformers tattoo.
Uh-huh.
Those are the people that want more of those movies.
Okay.
Apparently there's enough of them.
Well, enough to do what? Because that's relative now. Because there's not enough to make another one of those movies.
Well, I mean, again, if the last movie pulled in $162.6 million in the first 5 days...
Yeah.
Then that's like... considered, I mean, I don't know. It doesn't actually say how much Dark of the Moon cost.
There is no way it was called Dark of the Moon.
100% Transformers Dark of the Moon.
Well, which country did that originally come out in? Because that's a lost in translation.
You think that's ESL? English as a second language?
What's the problem? Dark of the Moon. Release. No need to do different poster. Dark of the Moon.
Is like Dark of the Moon that bit you? Is that what that is?
Oh, your head hurt on night after partying? That's Dark of the Moon bit you. Have a little Dark of the Moon bit you.
But boy, oh boy, that's a whole lot of coinage. I'm just gonna say it. And I just thought it was an interesting piece of information because I've always said that I don't like the Transformers movies. And, you know, I'm not one to kick a boy while he's down, but it's kind of fun to see one bomb so badly.
What if the Transformers are listening right now?
I feel bad. I'm sorry, guys. You had your day.
Now they're
your
going
day
to
is
root
done.
against the next Cloverfield movie.
Here's the
to
thing.
tank.
Transformers, you've had your 15 minutes.
Twice.
It's time to have a nap.
Who gets a full half an hour of global recognition and love? You know? Because they had their shit in the 80s.
Oh, yeah. They had their day. I mean, fuck. I loved Transformers toys when I was a kid.
But does the failure now fuck up the nostalgia? Like, I don't really give a shit about, unless I physically see one in real life, which is nice. Because there's only...
A Transformer?
Yeah, like when we went to that thing.
Oh, yeah. And there were guys in suits.
Yeah, but I like that way less. I'm talking
Those
about...
looked cool. You're talking about the ride?
No. Remember when we went to that like flea market with all the action figures?
Oh,
and shit?
yeah. I'm sorry. You lost me for a second, and I'm back.
No, it was probably my fault.
No, I'm back.
But the only... I'm saying that for me, the only enjoyment I get out of Transformers now is actually seeing the original toys.
The classics.
Movie doesn't do anything for me.
Same.
Seeing the cartoon is now just like ironic for ironic sake, and that doesn't really do anything for me. So do the new movies destroy the thing of the past?
Well, I think... Oh, boy, here we go, baby, because we're going down the road.
Well, we don't have to. We can
I
talk
would
about
love to,
anything
because you know I love talking about movies more than anything.
else. Yeah. Me too.
In my opinion, which is normally not a great one when it comes to like big blockbuster movies, even though I like my fair share. Thank you very much. I will say that the first Transformers movie is at least neat.
Uh-huh.
Like, I think the idea that like Michael Bay, who's made some amazing films,
Yeah.
and is a great filmmaker.
Titanic 2.
Okay. You think there's a Titanic 2?
I'm just talking about all the Michael Bay movies.
You think Michael Bay has anything to do with the Titanic movie?
Titanic 2.
There's no...
Need for Speed.
Have you seen Titanic 2?
Not me personally.
What in your head made you think there might be a Titanic 2? Have you seen... Was it a poster, or are you just assuming that since there's so many sequels...
I was under the impression, and correct me if I'm wrong, Steve. Sorry, I'm not the movie buff. That there is a movie wherein Tom Hanks, regular size Tom Hanks,
Yeah.
is on an island with a volleyball.
Yes.
True or false?
Yes, that's true.
Where did he come from?
Where was he born?
Thank you.
Case closed.
Titanic
What
2.
if we lived in a world where that was a real courtroom case and I just got sentenced to jail because of your...
If I'm ever in that position, we're all dead already. Yeah.
That's like the Idiocracy world.
We're on the grand judge.
Yeah. Like that was your big or what's deposition, or what's the thing?
Yeah. It won't have a name. It'll just be what I say. It won't have a name by
Michael
that point.
Bay is a great filmmaker who's made some great movies, and so when you're like, Michael Bay is making a Transformers movie, you're like, okay, cool. Some people more excited than others, for sure. And then we saw it. Most people saw it. I'm sure you saw it, right?
I think I saw the first one.
Yeah, the first one's just like, all right, it's a big mess of CGI. It's hard to tell what's happening a lot of the times. And it's an impressive collection.
Played video games, you'll love this movie.
If you can play a video game zoomed in and extremely close and still beat the game, then you will enjoy Transformers. And it's neat. It's an incredible feat of digital art.
Back in 1989, if you played Metroid with your nose on the television glass,
that was the equivalent of the Transformers.
You're gonna love Transformers and Shia LaBeouf.
So I will say the first one's like, whatever, man. It's a movie that exists, and that's the only one they really needed to make. I think if they were gonna. I mean, it's not even about like needing to make it. It was a cash grab.
Yeah, do it.
The whole
But
thing
do
is a
it
cash
once,
grab.
and then we're out.
Well, it doesn't matter. They made a fuck ton of money every time, except for this one. And so it looks like maybe stop making them.
All right.
That's interesting, huh?
Yeah, I suppose.
I think that's interesting because I'm sick of it, and seems like a lot of people are sick of it.
So many great nostalgic things to remake before you make another Transformers.
Yeah,
movie.
Beetlejuice.
Beetlejuice would be one that I would actually be excited to see.
Harry and the Hendersons.
Harriet Henderson.
Harriet Henderson. Harriet Henderson and the Sorcerer's Stone.
Reboot. I would love to see a reboot of the show Reboot.
What about a reboot of MASH?
I wouldn't be interested in that. I think it would do fine
What if they remade James and the Giant Peach
with Drew Carey
as the Giant Peach?
as one giant peach.
What if it was Kim Kardashian as the Giant Peach?
And Kanye.
And Kanye is James. And he's got to get inside that giant peach. You got to get in there. Get in the peach, Kanye. Can he get in?
Can ye get into the peach?
So I went. So I enjoyed VidCon. But I was there for less of an amount of time that you were.
Yeah.
This might be the last VidCon that I'm invited to as a professional.
You think so?
Yeah. Because I'm going to go ahead and just say that I'm pretty sure the only reason why we were invited is because there was not nobody knew SourceFed was getting canceled when they
they bought the plane tickets before, or they sent the invites before.
They sent the invite. They planned the programming before SourceFed was canceled.
Yeah.
But now that it is canceled, I think we're bye-byes. I don't think we're going back, baby.
All right. Well, some of us did some other things that weren't SourceFed related.
That's true.
However, I don't think that you're wrong.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I'd love to go back. I'd like to go back, but I don't have much to show for it on the way of the YouTube world.
But I'm
working on it.
That's a bad thing, unless you want to become a daily vlogger.
No, I just enjoy VidCon. I enjoy seeing the community of supportive people, and I love interacting with people that I only get to see like their text things on Twitter or comments on YouTube. It's great to put faces to names and see the smiling faces and hug everybody, even though it's probably why I got sick. But
yeah,
I like to do that. I like it. And then I also love just like it's definitely a place where you can count on people you rarely see in the same place at the same time all together.
Yeah, that is very fun.
And I love that. That's like one of my favorite things. And it is a nice little community of people, the ones that we like, share our time with.
Speaking of, yeah, it is. Speaking of you getting sick, I noticed you doing a little something different at one of the meet and greets where we would be walking up and down the aisle, shaking hands, doing hugs. You were putting people's fingers in your mouth. Why were you doing under your tongue?
Well,
Kept saying it's a bit.
I don't think that was me, Mike.
I wasn't. I'm almost positive that's how you got sick.
No, I didn't do that.
You're putting your tongue on people's foreheads, and then you were.
No, what I did was I flipped my eyelid up and asked people to yell as loud as they could into my eyes. Because that's the only way I get joy anymore. When people scream at my eyes.
We've had likes for a long time, wondering what likes would do.
Your eyeballs,
to the human psyche on the internet.
If your life was a video game, your eyeballs would be the like sensitive parts that you shoot the guns at
before you start blinking.
Before
red.
they start blinking red.
Yeah, I could see that. Did you have any opinion on this Instagram model who tried to get into the convention center?
And got into a fight and was tackled by a security person?
I guess. I don't know that I saw or know the whole story, but I know what I saw on that video of that young boy yelling at that grown man.
I knew that there was I heard very little about it, and then I listened to people listening to it.
Yeah. And that was enough.
Yeah, I think it's funny because it's like Well, I don't know the whole story, but it was like the person was actually not invited to VidCon, but they came anyway, and then they weren't let in or something.
That's weird. Same thing will happen at a birthday party.
Yeah. And there's a way to handle that, and one of the ways to handle that is not to go mad angry and throw your fists around.
Yeah, or not show up to places you're not invited.
You're not invited to.
Yeah.
Well, there's always some sort of drama at VidCon.
Yeah.
It's fun.
It's the place to be, I guess.
It is the place to be. Fidget spinners and well-wishers is what I like to say about this year's...
Fissures and spinners.
Anal fissures and spinners and popcorn kernels.
Were you there when Delman almost died?
Was that this time?
It was. I mean, it kind of happens all the time.
Yeah. He chokes sometimes on food. Yeah.
We were
like Owen. Owen chokes on food a lot too.
A lot?
Yeah.
Well, one of it was captured forever.
One was, but now it's all you see is like the shaking of a virtual reality helmet coming off quick. And then you hear nothing because copyrighted Star Wars music was playing and Twitch removed the audio.
God bless Twitch,
Yeah.
You don't want to get sued for something like that.
No, not at all. I would definitely have loved to have had those audio clips of Owen choking to death because you can bet your ass I would play them over and over on Dynamic Banter. And I'm sure people would have remixed the coughing sounds into a History Road song.
Yeah, we wouldn't need the theme song.
Right. What happened?
We were sitting in a bar and we were having bar food, nachos et al. And I remember I was a little bit tipsy at this point, but Delman stands up and then he just goes away. And then you don't see Delman for like 45 minutes.
He just got up and left?
And then he comes back and he's fine. It's like, all right, guys, I could either choose to tell you or not tell you, and I'm telling you.
Was he choking to death and he got up and left while he was choking to death?
He got up silently, was choking to death on a sandwich, tried to rectify with beer, did not work, made situation worse.
He poured beer down his throat to try to dislodge the sandwich?
Poured beer into his eye because that's the only way he could find Joe anymore. So he goes outside of the bar, and he does what he needs to do. He kind of Heimlichs himself, if you can imagine.
Okay.
And then
or with people around?
With people around. There was people around.
And they were watching this?
Watching this. Luckily, I guess not a ton of people has seen many commercials that he's in. He's in every commercial, so I don't know how
no one recognized him.
There's the Domino's guy.
The Domino's guy is dying.
But the whole point of the thing is, like, he didn't want to bother.
It's like Owen. Owen felt the same way. That was Owen's reason for running away, too.
What a shameful society we live in.
I have a feeling that it's like there's a percentage of it that is actually not wanting to bother someone and a percentage of it that is pure embarrassment.
Yeah.
And not wanting to make a scene.
Yeah. Well, it's just making a scene somewhere else. It's like when the dog gets up from the family and goes into another room to die. You gotta have the foresight as a dog to know that's gonna be a scene in a couple minutes in a different place.
I heard a dog goes into the other room to die because it's dying where there's treasure underneath your house. If your dog dies, wherever your dog dies, dig down under that and you'll find treasure.
They say when the dog dies, no one lies.
When you're gonna find truffles.
When the dog dies, it's buried under thee.
When a dog dies from fools, you dig deep for those jewels. Wow, poor Delman. Was it a situation? Did he explain what happened? Did he like vomit or anything?
We're not going to do the dog dies thing for the next half an hour.
You know what? No,
He explained.
Is he okay?
He's fine.
Was it a whole situation, or it happened so fast?
It happened so fast. He was up and gone before we knew.
Was Lee there when this happened?
Yeah.
And he didn't tell Lee at all?
No, man. The only reason we knew is because he came back afterwards and was like, "This is what happened." It was incredible. We all would have saved his life if he had stayed.
Like right away.
And we were like, if we had gone around the corner and you were dead, we would all be really pissed off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If I found out that's how Delman died, I'd be so bummed out. I'd be like, why the fuck did he leave?
Yeah. So don't leave. If you're dying at home,
Don't leave if you're dying.
stay put.
If you're dying, plant your foot and stay put. And someone will find you.
If you feel that the grippy, icy hand to death, you're going to want to plant your feet and take a breath.
Fucking Delman, man. I know I'm going to hear someday that that's how he goes.
No, I really hope not, man.
I hope not, too. He's got to figure his shit out. I'm worried about him.
Now I feel like I need to keep an eye on him.
Well, don't you think, we need to have Lee on the podcast so we can talk about it.
I would like to hear Lee's, because Lee has to deal with this more.
Oh, yeah. Lee will, talk about it like they've been married for years.
Yeah.
And it's a whole thing.
Well, I just get worried about him,
Well, everybody should be.
Everyone should be worried about Delman premiering this fall.
Okay, let's do a little sponsor spot real quick, okay?
Okay, great.
Does that sound good, Mike?
Yeah, and I can't wait until we hit that lull.
Here we go. Today's episode of Dynamic Banter is brought to you by Blue Apron. Blue Apron is just the number one fresh ingredient recipe delivery service in the country. And Blue Apron's mission is to make incredible home cooking accessible to everyone.
That's
And Blue Apron achieves this by supporting a more sustainable food system, setting the highest standards for ingredients, and building a community of home chefs. Blue Apron has established partnerships with 150 farms.
sounds like so many farms.
Think about it.
I can't picture that many
Think about
farms.
3 farms.
Okay, doing it.
Now add 148 more of them.
Tough to imagine.
Why don't you add in a couple fisheries and ranchers into that mix all across the United States, and what you get is seafood sourced sustainably under standards developed in partnership with the Monterey Bay Aquarium Seafood Watch.
It sounds fresh.
They're taken care of, baby. Those fishies are feeling great until they are killed for you. Beef, chicken, and pork come from responsibly raised animals. The way that they're raised is very responsible before they're murdered. They're comfortable as hell before they die for you. And produce is sourced from farms that practice regenerative farming. And because Blue Apron ships the exact amount of each ingredient required for a recipe, they are reducing food waste.
There's also vegetarian options.
You ever chopping up a chive, Mike, and one baby's butt of the chive flies out into the sink, and there it goes. Bye-bye.
It's gone forever.
Guess what? Blue Apron will only give you the exact amount of each ingredient you need.
So there's no overmixing, there's no undermixing. You're going to get the exact amount you need to make it right and nice.
You're not going to trash your stash. You're going to use every damn last bit. Hey, and guess what? Cooking together builds strong familial bonds. Research shows that Blue Apron families cook nearly 3 times more often.
Probably because they have Blue Apron.
The song. Here. Okay, we're back. Guys,
Families.
Mike and I have used...
Blue Apron cook more often. Yeah, man.
Mike and I...
Hey, paper. Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
I named my horse in Zelda Blue Apron. I'm not joking, I did. Is that a great name?
I like it a lot.
I'll show you after the show if you want.
Please, I need to
She's
see
a beaut. Clydesdale. Blue Apron is affordable. That's less than $10 per person per meal. You guys want to hear about those featured upcoming meals?
Yes.
How about this? Seared chicken and creamy pasta salad with summer squash and sweet peppers.
Ooh, that sounds good. How about creamy shrimp rolls with quick pickles and sweet potato wedges?
If you're going to serve me pickles, they better be quick. How about some fresh basil, feta pasta with sweet corn and cubanelle pepper?
Well, that sounds good. I mean, all of it, but once I'm done with that, I'll probably want a chile buttered steaks with Parmesan potatoes. Of course, a little spinach, add a little green in there.
Why not? That sounds great. I'll take 2. Can I have 2?
Nope, you get only the amount that Blue Apron uses.
Talk about your personal experience with Blue Apron. Well, I will. You know, I had a great time with Blue Apron, but I didn't have pepper or salt, so my first order of Blue Apron went into the trash.
Only because you were missing those 2.
Because I couldn't. How was I going to make it?
There's so many other things that go into it. Every time I've had Blue Apron, I've had to make a lemon zest, and it's become my favorite part of every meal is making a lemon zest.
I'm just better. I was better prepared the next time I did a Blue Apron meal. I had salt and pepper in my fridge. That's where it belongs. And I cooked my meal, and Owen and I ate a Blue Apron meal, and I'll tell you what, it was delicious, and I'll tell you what, you can customize your recipes. Go to blueapron.com/banter and check out this week's menu and get your first 3 meals free with free shipping by going to blueapron.com/banter, and you're going to love how good it feels. You're going to love how you look and tastes. To create incredible home-cooked meals with Blue Apron, don't wait. That's blueapron.com/banter. Get your first 3 meals free. That's 3 times of a meal you'll never have to wait on a mom to make. You're
100% right, Steve.
Blue Apron, a better way to cook. Hey, Mike.
Yes, sir.
Have you ever heard of Squarespace?
I have. It's a great way to make a website. I power my website through Squarespace. Wouldn't trust anybody else. Man, it's easy to get in there and move things around and create a beautiful site with a minimal understanding of really anything.
Have you used their award-winning designer templates?
Absolutely, I have.
Did you create a beautiful website or online store with an award-winning template?
I absolutely did.
Did you make sure to use an award-winning template?
I have to double check. I'd have to double check my particular template. It looks award worthy.
Do you know if there's a way to just see only the award-winning templates?
I don't know if there's a filter.
Is there a way to filter out the ones that didn't win awards?
Sort by awards won.
Squarespace has all. Have you used their all-in-one platform, Mike?
I do weekly.
Let me ask you this: did you have to install anything?
I'll tell you, absolutely not. It's just a plug and play. You get ready to go and you do it.
Did you have to patch anything on your computer?
I never have to patch anything on my computer.
Did you have to upgrade your computer, your Windows 97, anything?
I haven't upgraded my computer since 1985.
Let me ask you this. Have you ever used their award-winning 24/7 customer service?
I have. I needed it, and I got the answers I needed in a jiffy. It's like they're there waiting for something to go wrong, but it rarely does. Squarespace is robust and easy to use.
And if it does go wrong, there's a man or woman that's going to answer your call, and she'll be there. He will be there for you. Start your free trial today for Squarespace at squarespace.com and enter the offer code BANTER to get 10% off your first purchase. That's 10% off your first purchase for a domain or a website. And go ahead and give it a shot, and I'll tell you what. You're not going to be happier with any other web-making designer award-winning template. So go to squarespace.com and why don't you make your next move with a get your unique domain with a unique domain. Squarespace. Make your next website unique to Squarespace. Make your next Squarespace. Squarespace. Make your next move. Make your next website.
You know, I think the most important thing is ending strong. As long as it ends strong, it'll be all right.
Mike, the new Jumanji movie, holy fuck, is called Jumanji Welcome to the Jungle.
Okay.
And I'm angry about it. I think that's a bad name.
Yeah, it doesn't sound... Maybe Welcome Back to the Jungle? Or Jungle to Jungle 2?
Jumanji Jungle Crashers.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Jumanji, Transformers 8.
Jumanji, Dark of the Moon.
Dark of the Jungle.
Dark of the Jungle. Oh, man. So I went to, I left VidCon early because Ms. Whitney Moore from the film Birdemic, it was her birthday and she was visiting her folks in San Jose.
Nice.
And, well, maybe it's not really San Jose. It's San Jose-esque area. I
San
think.
Jose adjacent.
Within the realm of San Jose. And it just so happened that Mr. Chris Hardwick was having his first ever music, comedy, and nerd festival.
Uh-huh.
And it was called Idiot Fest. Yeah. And Whitney was invited as a guest and got some VIP tickets and invited Bree and I.
Tell me what it was like.
And it was wonderful. We had an absolute blast.
Did you see any stand-up?
I didn't see any stand-up, but I saw a lot of comedians in the backstage area. I caught a glimpse of old Brian Posehn.
Okay. Very nice.
Who I think is a funny boy. Oh, man, I'm sorry. My nose is really just it's doing it right now.
That's okay. It's like an ASMR.
I'm trying to find a lineup here. Here's the lineup. The music aspect of it is something that I caught more of. I'm bummed out. I missed the Mystery Science Theater guys, which really bummed me out. I think there was a Animaniacs reunion or something. But I saw Weezer.
Cool.
And I caught a little bit of OK Go.
Nice.
And
did you see OK Cupid while you were there?
I didn't. Here's some of the people that were in the Monster Energy Drink comedy tent. Dimitri Martin.
Oh, cool.
Nikki Glazer. Michael Ian Black, who I love.
Yeah.
Greg Proops. Matt Bronger. Dan Mintz. Hampton Yount. Jonah Ray, who's a great boy. And it was hosted by April Richardson. And then the next day, we saw all the bands. Girl Talk, TV on the radio.
Is Girl Talk just a guy?
Girl Talk is just a guy with a laptop. Yeah. Let's talk about that a little bit in a second if you want.
Sure.
TV on the radio, Animal Collective, Crystal Castles.
TV on the radio was the shit.
Dude, they blew my mind.
Yeah, they're a great band.
I didn't see Robert DeLong and I didn't see Mothers, but
no Mothers were there?
Not one Mother was there that I could see. I saw a little bit of Jai Wolf, and I think everyone, Whitney and some other pals went to see Medea.
Medea goes to
a lot of EDM stuff. Here's some other comedians: Michael Che, Garfunkel and Oates, who I saw and said hi to really quick. Brian Posehn, Brent Weinbach, Marcella Arguello.
Oh, she's very, very funny.
Mike Furman, Yasir Lester, and That's it for that. But it was really cool because it was like Comic-Con mixed with a music festival and comedy.
Comedy-Con.
Comedy.
Yeah,
And
that's
dude,
cool.
I saw. Okay, so let me talk a little bit about. So Animal Collective and Girl Talk are like dudes and girl on computers.
Yeah.
And a lot of the EDM, most of the EDM, like that Jai Wolf band person, is a guy on a computer. And I don't know, maybe I'm just old fashioned, but I just got more of a kick out of seeing like a full band of people like
People do stuff. When people are doing stuff.
when people are doing stuff like in front of your face.
Yeah.
It's like
When they're
Weezer
moving their hands and doing stuff.
and the things that their hands are on. It's like a lot of people will say that like a lot of the DJ stuff. Like I'm not saying that DJs aren't talented. Like there's definitely like a talent and an artistry involved in like, especially if there's like live mixing going on.
Some janitors are talented.
There are very talented janitors. And in fact, you could say in any field there are talented people.
Yeah.
I personally, I'm just old fashioned, I guess, but I got more out of seeing like Weezer and holy shit, man, TV on the radio.
Yeah.
Fucking blew my mind.
Yeah, they're great.
I had heard like 2 of their songs, and
They're playing upstairs right now.
I think they are playing upstairs right now. I've heard like 2 of their songs or something, but seeing them live, holy shit, they put on such a good show, and they're amazing musicians. And now I'm like a fan for life.
Yeah, man. I think that's because you don't take ecstasy.
Yeah. I mean, I get it, dude. Like enhancing the musical experience with drugs, and you like, man, the music was in my body.
Yeah, it's not worth it, probably.
I could feel the chords in my blood.
No one was making them, but
The one man that was pressing spacebar was in my
the
blood.
dude who made the song 3 years ago and then put it into a playlist and pressed play and jumped around in front of a strobe light in my body.
The guy, like, I swear to you, the guy that took the song made by other people and put it together with another song made by another person, and then he put it over it with the volume down for a minute and then brought it up, was right next to my body.
I would have never been able to decipher exactly who originally wrote and performed
It doesn't matter.
each song if it weren't for the drugs in my body.
I will say about Girl Talk, like the show was cool, like the performance was cool. He like brought a bunch of people out on stage, and there was like this massive party on the stage, and like there were these big like blow up hands and feet, and like there were like it was
gotta
like,
have some extra stuff.
there's got to be, otherwise you're just a boy on a computer up there.
You gotta have 1, 2, 1, 2, 3 extra things.
But I will say, like, the because basically what Girl Talk was doing was like mashups.
Yeah,
Like they were just like mashups. They were just
mashups and tricks.
mashups and tricks. Mashed up potatoes. It was like, so like, have you ever been to Booty LA? Have you heard of Booty LA?
No, is that the one where they work out and they hold sticks the whole time?
Definitely not. Booty LA is a show that I don't know if it still happens, but it's here in LA at the Echoplex. And it's like there's like 80s night and hip hop night and like
That sounds fun.
like grunge night, and basically it's like these DJs like create these like cool mixes, these like mashups of like, they'll take like Smells Like Teen Spirit and then put it with like
The
We
Humpty
Are the
Dance.
Champions, and then
Okay.
throw in the Humpty Dance.
Yeah,
And it's cool. It's really cool. I used
sounds
to
like just what DJs do.
It's like what DJs do. They're just
Yeah.
mixing it up. Like, they'll like, some of them probably remove the vocal tracks somehow and use programs, and
they erase it with a Photoshop.
they erase the amazing vocals from artists that are dead and disrespect them by removing their voices and then adding their own sound in there.
That sounds fun.
Putting a wolf screaming over. the things in there, and then
You've heard "Steal My Sunshine" by Len, but have you heard it with a wolf screaming over
you know, Kurt Cobain's voice is pretty great, but have you ever heard a wrench? This whole song, this is Heart-Shaped Box, sung by a wrench
A lot of
with
people
a
think-
Drake beat under it.
A lot of people think Futures was so good because of Jimmy's Eats voice. But here's a power saw.
You heard the Beatles, but you've never heard the Beatles on an MP3 player dropped into a pot of boiling macaroni, and then the speakers are put into a dead lion, and then put it up all the way up, and then get a buzzsaw, and then
Cut open the
cut
line.
open the lion, and then we're gonna hear what it sounds like, and then put a Drake song under it. Like, it's cool. It's whatever, man. Like, art is art. Art is subjective. Like, music is whatever. Like,
Yeah.
music can be anything you want, and art can be anything you want, and whatever.
Even made fun of.
Art can be made fun of, yeah, and it's all subjective, and not everything is for everyone. And just for me, it was like I'm not into really the EDM thing, and like it's cool, man. Jai Wolf has some cool stuff, but it's like they're all the same. Like they're all the same. It's like there's a drop, and then the music gets quiet, and then it comes back in,
Warbly.
and then it warbles, and then it's whatever, man.
And then
it's
all
fine.
the tricks go off on stage.
And then they shoot off these confetti cannons, and everyone's real on drugs.
I have a
About
theory about I have a theory about stuff.
Go
if
ahead.
you could, and forgive me if I've already said this on this podcast, but if you could do tricks with whatever it is, the thing isn't interesting enough.
It's just whatever. I mean, like,
Yo-yo tricks, fidget spinner tricks.
like, it's fine, man. Do you and have fun and do it. You know what? And do it.
Basketball is good not because of the ball, because of the game of basketball. You know what I'm saying?
But we love the Harlem Globetrotters.
Love the Harlem they could do tricks with the ball.
That's fine.
Because the ball isn't interesting enough. It needs the Harlem Globetrotters. EDM needs the confetti cannons
it's okay.
and the strobe lights.
All I could think of was
and the
like
spit robots. And the foam pits.
and giant hands
And the inflatable hands.
and beach balls with lights in them thrown into the crowd
And drugs.
and beer.
Dude, if you want to... Yeah, man. It shouldn't be a prerequisite for a type of music to
That
be,
you
like,
need
must be on
drugs.
drugs.
Yeah. I mean, some would say it's an enhancement.
Uh-huh.
And I'm fine with that. And like, look, you want to smoke a little weed and listen to Dark Side of the Moon? Dark of the Moon? Transformers? You want to smoke weed and watch Transformers Dark of the Moon? No, I'm all boogery.
Do you want me to get you something?
No, Dad. No, Dad. You want to do that? That's fine, man. People have been listening to Dark Side of the Moon with a little since like the 70s, the 60s, whatever.
Dropping acid
It's
and
fine,
shit.
man. You want enhanced music, but I don't think you're right. It shouldn't be a prerequisite. It shouldn't be like, oh man, like you shouldn't. If you have to play EDM for somebody and they're like not into it and they're like, yeah, but like wait till you're on Molly, bro.
Yeah.
And it's like, then what's the point?
You could do anything, man.
Yeah.
You could play with a rubber band for 45 minutes.
You could listen to an entire Wiggles live album
Yeah.
on Molly and you would probably have the same experience.
You're telling me that a Gin Blossoms record wouldn't sound equally as more awesome on an enhancement drug?
Well, I'll tell you what. I was on Tylenol, cold and flu
Humble brag.
when I saw TV on the radio. Sorry, it's what the celebs are doing now.
Was it just in the green room?
It's just, yeah. Well, I almost told a really inappropriate joke.
Don't do it. Hold
There was a
back.
bowl of it that you could just reach your hands into and then get in there. And I was like, excuse me, I'm only going to take the recommended dosage. I don't know about you guys taking 3. But I watched TV on the radio under the influence of Tylenol, cold and flu. And I don't know if it enhanced the experience, but I will say they were amazing. And Girl Talk was just like, okay, so there's like, it's cool. He's mashing
It's
up
fun
songs.
party
and
music,
it's,
man.
It's just party music. And my
Good
thing
to
is
roller
like,
skate to.
I just don't see the difference between like the guy up there doing it and someone just playing a track.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
I know exactly what you mean.
like what? Like, is it that different to like pay to see Girl Talk and pay to go to like a night where someone's playing Girl Talk music?
Here's the thing. If I invited a bunch of people to this apartment who had never seen Girl Talk and who didn't know who I was,
Yeah.
and if I said, I'm Girl Talk,
Oh, they would 100% believe you. Yeah. Yeah. And they'd be like, oh, cool.
yeah, but I know who Girl Talk is because of that. When it first came out, everyone was fucking obsessed with that shit.
Yeah, it's cool, man. Mashups are cool. I actually like mashups. I think they're fun. Like I said, the Booty LA mashups, like there's a site that has them all archived. And you can just like, I used to put on like fucking like 20 like mashup songs
At once?
into a playlist, and they're each like 8 minutes long or more, 12 minutes long, and then you just like fucking put them on a playlist and you just listen, and it's rad.
That sounds like Power Hour. When we used to do that when we were in like high school and college. It's when you have like usually an audio cassette tape.
Yeah.
That's a minute of each song.
Yeah.
And you have to like drink a beer every time the song changes. And
That's
now
kinda
people
neat.
are get to do that in front of a theater.
Dude, there was a thing, there was a site, man, I wish I remember what it was called. Maybe a listener will
Newgrounds.com.
remember. Maybe one of you guys will remember, but it was like you would go into this like onto a website, and there'd be like this digital like club.
And you'd be a DJ or a listener.
Yeah.
Yeah. I used to do that.
Do you
all the
remember
time.
that?
Something, I don't remember what it was called. I would do it all the time.
Dude, me and my pals at Sony, we would all go into the same room and we'd have it on in the background while we were doing our work and stuff. And then we would all just like put on our music. Like you could put in anything. You could even put in your music you had on a hard drive or something.
Yeah.
And so I would put in like weird shit, like stuff that I was like making demo recordings of. For,
Yeah.
like,
And just
comedy
watch all
music.
the little avatars leave.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
you would, well, like you could downvote a song. Like everyone could vote down and then it would go to the next track.
Right.
And but it was really, really fun.
Yeah.
I remember that's like a fun app, and now I don't know what happened to it or if it exists anymore or if people even use it. But it's
Now
cool.
everything is kind of like that. Like think of how many things you
Well-
could like curate a playlist.
Yeah, but like it's not it's personal. It's like it's impersonal. You know what I mean? Like, or that's a contradiction. It's like,
It's not happening in real time in a room with
yeah, I feel
other
like it's
people.
not social anymore. Like you can share what you're listening to on Spotify, and you can
Sure.
share your playlists with the internet on Spotify or whatever. But like I want to do a thing where it's like, hey, let's all listen to these music tracks together tonight for an hour.
Yeah.
And I'll play for you like my top 10 favorite tracks, and then we'll all talk about it.
That would be a cool thing to do in the virtual reality world. Imagine that
Yeah,
same thing in
yeah.
the virtual reality world.
Remember that guy who was like at the SourceFed panel and was like, if you guys want to do some like comedy stuff in the virtual reality world,
Yeah.
let's like talk. I wish I knew how to get a hold of that guy.
I wish
'cause
we
think that's-
didn't just make jokes with that.
Yeah. Because that's a
Because
cool
we
idea.
got some ideas.
Yeah. But anyway, I think it's time for History Road, Mike.
All right.
Unless you got something to say.
I got a couple things I
Let's
wanted
go.
to run by you.
Go for it.
Does it matter if it's a longer episode?
No, not at all. You've been gone for a bit. Let's do this.
Okay, I today I noticed that I like going grocery shopping. Have you been grocery shopping outside of Whole Foods in like a while?
Yeah, I'll go to like New Ralph's.
So you'll do okay. So I haven't done that in a while.
Yeah.
We just kind of get what we need from Whole Foods, and that's not a good way to be
No,
because you
no.
spend a lot of money.
And there's a lot. There aren't that many options. At
There
Whole
really
Foods.
aren't. There really aren't, and you forget about that.
Yeah.
And then I went to Pavilions today.
Ooh, Pavilions is nice.
And it's a lot more, and it's not even like we used to on the East Coast. We used to go to Stop and Shop, and that was the shit. Super Stop and Shop has everything you would ever need. So I went to Pavilions today, and I was just like, oh, it's all the things I remember, and there's so many options and more things that can kill you faster for sure.
Yeah,
But
and they're bad.
most things are bad. There's a sign when you walk in.
Did you like it? Did you see Otter Pops?
I didn't see Otter Pops.
Do you like Otter Pops?
Yes.
Otter Pops are like a summer yeah for me.
Yeah. They're strictly a summer yeah. But I remember thinking that I like the process of shopping and bringing it home and putting it away, especially with Zoya in the house.
Yeah.
Because it feels like you're doing something, like you're doing a meaningful task.
Yeah.
Like you're doing hunter-gatherer.
Yeah.
But you're not a hunter, so it's just gathering.
You're storing food for the winter almost.
Yeah.
You're protecting your kin.
Yeah, so it was like speaking to my primal whatever, but just the gatherer part.
And it's very adult, too. You feel like a real adult when you're like Tetrising those cereal boxes.
Putting them away in the bag,
Yeah.
especially.
You're right. Grocery shopping is a fun experience, unless you're hungry or not hungry. You have to be like in between that, or you're gonna like buy way too much shit,
Or not
not
get
enough.
me out of here.
Yeah,
You're 100% right.
Rush through, yeah.
And it's a line. Because
Oh, yeah.
you ever go when you're too hungry?
Yes,
That's too much.
it's like I'm gonna get this already prepared rotisserie chicken.
that you've never gotten before.
Yeah, that I've never gotten before, and this bag of barbecue chips.
Yeah. And you're like, I'll just pour one on top of the other and eat it with my hands.
We'll just put them into a blender and drink it.
You know how you know that you're too hungry shopping?
Yeah.
When you have the hand cart, the basket,
Yeah.
and it's overflowing.
And you're like, I should have just gotten the push cart.
I should have just gotten the when you put a cart into the
The basket into the cart.
That's when your cart is overflowing with baskets.
Yeah. You've got 3 baskets in your shopping cart.
All right, one more observation, and I need you.
It doesn't have to be one more.
Well, I've one more, and then that's it for this show.
Are you sure?
I'm out.
All right.
I need you to tell me. I've grown increasingly unsure of whether or not I'm the crazy one. So I need you to tell me.
What do you mean by that?
This was a real thought that I had walking home from the store today.
Okay.
The cooler you think your car is, and please follow me on this,
I'm following you.
because I get insecure when I don't know if I feel like a shared experience is only familiar to me, and then I
Okay.
feel like I have to go away to the hospital.
Which one?
The comfortable one. I feel like the cooler you think your car is, the less you think rules apply to you. Okay? And therefore, the cooler you think your car is, the dumber you are. And I know we might lose a couple people here. And here's my example. When was the last time you heard someone with a really cool car brag about how good they are at keeping their car at or under the speed limit? Am I okay? Is there any
I don't think
truth
you're
to
out
that?
of line.
Thank you so much.
I don't think you're out of line.
And I believe that wholeheartedly. Dude, you know, I wouldn't call what we have over here city blocks, but they're just regular old blocks,
Yeah.
town blocks.
Yeah.
I saw a guy in like a souped up Mustang with a racing stripe and body kit and all that stuff, very low to the ground, be parallel, taking up both lanes because he couldn't bother to wait for a cement truck.
Oh, God.
The cement truck in front of me isn't going fast enough, so I need to take up both lanes while there are people coming straight at me. Some people from a grocery store trying to gather for their families. And I was just like, holy shit, man. That dude thinks, if you were walking, like, what does that guy look like walking? That guy thinks he could do that shit because he has a Mustang with a racing stripe, and that's the saddest shit I've ever
like the
heard.
second he's outside of that car, he becomes like a normal human.
If that guy had a Yaris, do you think he'd be going head to head with a fucking cement truck?
No. But that's the thing, man. Like you when you get into like a race car, you want to go fast. When you get into like a 0 to fucking
Be a race car driver.
yeah.
You know, like I wanted to be a singer, but I don't walk around with a microphone. You know what I'm saying?
It's yeah. It's weird. You're right. Like, and it's almost like when people become police officers, they get this like shield of like unpenetrable.
well, they
like
get an actual
power.
shield that they wear on their chest.
But it's like they get this power
Yeah.
that they feel like they've instantly gotten, even though they're just normal people still.
You ever hang out with a cop? You ever go to a party with a cop who's off duty? He's the first person to go, easy. Easy now.
Yeah.
Getting a little loud over there with the music.
Do off-duty cops get invited to cool parties?
I have a friend who's a cop, and we invite him on the off chance that he's going to quit or retire someday soon.
Right.
Yeah.
Do you think someone who buys...
Cops hang out with each other.
Yeah.
That's the cop thing to do.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. Same thing with firemans.
Fire boys.
I think they're... I'm sorry, Steve. I think they're called firemans. Plural of fire.
They're called fire-fought people. Fire-fought. Firefightings.
Firefighter war.
Firefighters. Do you think someone with a fancy car has ever asked before buying it, do these turn signals work?
Now, these brakes, they're not going to lock up while I'm
driving.
Well, I'm stopped at a red light, are they? Everything's gonna be okay.
Is there any way to take out the lights, the blinkers? Will that make it cost less?
Do I need? No, I don't even want to give them any more attention.
Okay.
I got so mad.
I know, man. I know.
Because
there's a lot of selfish drivers out there.
Think about everyone. Think about every parking lot you've ever seen. And there's always somebody parked like way far in the back,
an asshole,
fucking horizontal across 3 spots, and that's not a shitty car.
Yeah,
that's not a rusted 1991 Toyota Corolla.
Although I've seen that too.
Well, that person lives there. That's the only other.
That's the groundskeeper.
Yeah, yeah,
yeah. I mean, I just think the second people get into their cars, they become very selfish. I think it's kind of like I think everyone's guilty of it. You know. To a degree, more, yeah. But definitely some people are more, yeah.
I'll say, this is the last thing I'll say, and I don't want to divide the podcast audience, and I don't want to cause a rift.
Why? What do you mean divide the podcast audience? If there's anybody that likes EDM, we've just thrown eggs at their car.
Listen, I make an addendum to the last thing I'll say before History Road. If you like EDM, or if you have a cool car, don't listen to this podcast.
Do me a favor. Stop listening to this podcast.
Just go into either, Stitcher or HeadGum proper, iTunes, Apple Podcasts.
And look at the top podcasts.
And see that we're not there, and then go to our podcast, and then where it says subscribe, it'll say subscribed, past tense, and then you hit that button again. And
it will take care of that.
Yeah.
It'll take care of all of your problems.
However, on the other side, if you're driving a 1998 Ford Taurus, thank you so much for your patronage, and we'll see you on the road real soon.
All right. Well, here we go, Mike. I think it's time for History Road.
Hope it's loud.
History. History.
I just love bouncing around in that goddamn bass line. Sorry. This History Road comes from Syed Quasir Mumtaz. It says History Road 2. Turd Boy returns.
Oh yes!
Is this the guy that? Is this the
shit his pants?
The gross shit his pants. The yellow poop boy.
He did have yellow poop.
Oh boy, here we go. It says hello once again from the land of Pakistan. It's Kaiser. Yep, you pronounced it wrong again. Mike got real close last time, but I appreciate the attempt and also this podcast. So let's get down to our story. Side note, it's not poop related this time, which I think Steve will appreciate given his reaction last time. I get that it was disgusting. I lived through that as a leal 7-year-old boy.
This time I threw up all over myself.
And I ate it. My family ate my puke. Here's the story about my family ate my puke one Christmas. Anyway, when I was in the 11th grade, a couple of friends and I planned to go on a weekend stay up in the mountain ranges, specifically a place Pakistan is kind of known for in that regard, Naran. We wanted to get away from the city and wanted to relax after our first year of A-level exams. So we rented out a room in a lodge to accommodate us boys. Our lodge was right next to the river. It flowed down from the snowy mountains around us. Sounds beautiful. We could see K2, the second highest mountain in the world, from our room window. Wow, that's really fucking cool.
I always thought K2 was like a code name for something else. I didn't know that was like
Yeah,
it's
that's the
Mount
name.
Everest and then a mountain called K2.
K2, yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
But that sounds too new.
it does. It sounds like a robot.
Big Mountain been there forever.
Like K2 is the new cool robot in the next Star Wars movie.
Yeah, or in the next Transformers movie.
Oh no, I don't think we're gonna get another one
It's
of
a
those.
robot that goes from it's a robot and then it turns into a mountain.
Into a mountain. K2. So we were situated in a valley of sorts, and we decided to trek up one of the mountains beside our lodge. It was literally beside it because we heard that there was cool shit to see there, and also a village full of natives. That's cool.
We're surrounded by mountains because we're in the valley. This mountain was literally right beside my hotel
Which
room.
is the definition.
You're never going to believe this. On the other side of the hotel room, same sitch. That's like what happened. We were in the valley.
Listen, Syed is creating the geography for those who are visual people.
Yeah.
And he's doing a great job of it.
I think he's doing great. I'm just having a little fun.
The hike was exhausting for us all. We hiked frequently on the hills around our city, and that's nothing to scoff at. But this was on another level. We eventually got to the top, and we were instantly met with villagers. They were very hospitable and treated us to their local food. Wow, really? This sounds like a movie.
Did you go to a magic place?
Is this Stargate you're describing? It was a blast. One of the farmers there proudly showed us his livestock and took us around his crop fields, which surprised me because I didn't expect there to be fields so high up at all. We were freezing, even though there was nothing but sunlight. He showed us an empty field, and we saw weird logs sticking out of the ground like roots. We stepped a bit into the field when the farmer started yelling to warn us. Turns out, due to the excessive amount of moisture and rain, the entire field turned into a sort of quicksand, and that those logs weren't logs.
But bodies of the villagers.
They were cow carcasses.
Oh, God. I'm out. Oh, no.
Yeah.
Hey, don't step on the dead cows.
Or you'll also be a dead cow. Yeah, cows.
You're walking like a real dead cow out there.
Yeah, you ever wander out into that field, you're going to be a dead cow.
That's my one warning.
Yeah, cows wander into the fields and sink right into them. It was terrifying. So what do? We take our shoes off, roll up our trousers, and start walking on the muddy waterbed that was that field. Wait a minute. You still went onto the field?
In defiance of that old wise man.
Of the wise man who said you're going to die out there? And
That
you saw the carcasses of cows?
That wise man had to watch all those poor cows walk to their death.
Yeah.
And now he's seeing these perceivably bright young boys.
Yeah.
travel
11th
along
grade.
the same path. These dead cows traveled along.
Yeah. The farmer looked very disappointed, but was also strangely calm. In hindsight, it was a stupid idea.
That's a man accepting death. That's what that is.
He knew he could finally get away with that murder he always wanted to be a part of.
Should have thrown a rock at that kid.
But it was really fun. It was like walking on water or poop-colored Jell-O. There's the poop. We walked around the giant field, had a few scares with the sinking stuff, checked out the cow logs while avoiding actual cow logs.
How do you not get dysentery wading knee deep in old cows?
That's a great point. I heard you can get worms from just like walking in sand that cats took a shit in.
Yeah. Litter boxes, they call them.
Whoops. We checked out the cow logs while avoiding actual cow logs, talking about poop, and then we went back. This wasn't the most dangerously stupid thing we did, I'd say the least. We went under a giant glacier that could fall and crush us any second, no joke. It was a fun experience. Oh, we got lost on a mountain without a guide, phone, or anything, and we were lost until 3 a.m. Holy shit.
Damn, man, that's terrifying.
It was a fun experience to say the least. Dumb, but fun. That was my History Road. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I was bummed to not be able to come to VidCon or any of the LA events you guys do. Hope to someday if I'm able later. Quasar. Kaser.
Casier. Well, thank you so much for that, dude. What the fuck?
Dude, that's crazy.
How do you get lost? Can you get lost on a mountain? Because isn't the right direction always down?
Yeah, because some mountains are so vast, Mike, that they're not just...
Down's always an option.
Down is an option, but you don't know where down.
I was lost in the dead of the night, and I looked to my right, and there I saw it, upwards. And I decided to go left, down.
Haven't you ever heard that old song about the mountains? If you get lost, go down, down. If you're in the mountains, go down, down.
You ever see that old PSA? If
you
you're ever lost in the mountains, go
down,
down. The mountain.
And then it go down, down. Be careful when you're going down, down.
When should you do it? Do it now.
Get your feet back on the ground.
Ground.
All right. Well, anyway, thanks for listening to Dynamic Banter.
Your
Mike, you
feet
got
on
any?
the ground.
You got any cool stuff?
Which direction go down?
You got anything to plug, Mike?
Yeah.
What do you got, baby?
A show after. I got a show before this comes out. If you're interested in that, come to that.
Okay, probably. Or maybe they did.
Okay, thank you so much for being there. That went great. On July 1st, I'm at the Sycamore Tavern. That's in West Hollywood. Come down there, down.
Come on, down.
That show starts around 7:30 or so. Bring your wallet. But keep it close. On July 7th, I'm at the world famous Comedy Store up there in the Belly Room for the Shindig, and 7:15 is the Return of the Friends and Friends show over there at Open Space on Fairfax.
That's fun.
Hopefully, if you want to be involved in this one, the invitation is
really.
This is the first time I'm talking to you about.
When are you doing it?
The 7:15. So it'll be the third Saturday in July.
Let me
let me
quadruple check my schedule, but
I'm not
I think
looking to put you on the spot.
I'd have a lot of fun doing that, and I really wanted to do it this last time, and then I got tickets to a Muppet thing that I want to talk about on another podcast.
Yeah, all good. Just don't get tickets to anything else this time.
I promise I won't. Mike, I hate that we have a conflicting event happening, but we do.
That's okay.
On July 7th, Rob Fee and I are putting on a show called I'm So Excited.
I saw the flyer for this.
Yeah, it's a Saved by the Bell themed comedy show night at the Open Space Cafe.
Nice.
Which is where the Friends show will be, right? Probably.
Friends and Friends, yeah. Come there every weekend until you're broke.
We're just taking over the Open Space, I feel like, thanks to you, Mike.
Sure. I'll take it.
And your connection to the nice people there who are
That's
always
great,
very accommodating and awesome.
But think of all the people on that show who are getting helped because the door is open.
That's true, man. This particular show is we're describing it as an in-depth analysis of Saved by the Bell with comedians, featuring myself and Rob Fee, name drop, including and also Malcolm Barrett, who's been on the podcast before.
Awesome.
Who's a friend of ours, who is now on season 2 of Preacher, which is on. If you want to watch the first 2 episodes of that, that's on AMC.com if you want to check that out. And also Erin Mallory Long.
Who's that?
She's a comedian friend of Rob's who I've not met, but I'm very excited to meet her and joke about Saved by the Bell with her. But we're basically going to watch the episode of Saved by the Bell where Jesse
has a drug
problem.
Yeah. Has a hardcore pill problem.
Yeah, and we're gonna talk about it and pause it and laugh at things and rewind it and like kind of fuck around with it.
I like
and,
that. Do you know what time it starts?
It's at 8 p.m.
Okay. Might be able to do a little bit of both.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
that could be cool, man.
Because I think my show's late. I think my Comedy Store show starts at like 10.
Oh, shit. Yeah, ours is only like an hour long or something.
Awesome.
Something like that. So come to the Open Space Theater on July 7th at 8 p.m. and tickets are $10 bone. which is not bad. And also, there's an Eventbrite page to buy tickets online on the I'm so excited Facebook event page, which I'll share on the internet, or you can just find it by searching for events on Facebook.
Put it on the Dynamic Banter Twitter.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
It's a good idea.
That's what that's for, man. We should be able to promote stuff on there because people want to fucking. We got to start doing our own shows,
You're
and that's
right.
where they're gonna go.
You're absolutely right, Mike. Well, anyway, that's it. So, guys, I hope you see Mike doing his things. I hope you see me doing my things. And if not, then we also appreciate your continued listenership of the podcast.
No, if you don't go to either of these shows and you're within the designated area, then go buy a cool car and never listen to this podcast ever again.
Well, guys, thanks for listening to the show, and we'll catch you, as always, every Friday on iTunes and Spreaker and other internet things. And also, stay tuned. I think we're up for a podcast award.
What?
But I'll have more information as it comes, and you guys will be able to vote for us, and maybe we'll win a little podcast award or something.
I'm not stopping until we win a Tony.
You know what? I'm not
Proper.
stopping till we win an Anthony.
Tony Anthony Kiedis.
Tony Anthony Soprano. All right, guys. Well, thanks for listening, and we'll catch you next time on Dynamic Banter.
That was a HeadGum podcast.